press conference on your Monday. Coach, go ahead.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming. It's time to get back on board with another hard week of practice. Obviously, the results from Saturday or Friday night were not what we had hoped. We're making progress, but we got to make it faster. And that was the message to our team yesterday. Came out and had a good practice, and our guys are focused on going to Logan, Utah, playing a good Utah State team in a difficult place to play. I think we're 4-8, in Logan historically, but our guys are more committed than ever to go out and get it done.
Coach, I know this kind of seems like a lot of the questions are the same every week, but what is the team playing for now? I mean, every week we kind of change the goal a little bit. Now being 0-3 in conference, when you guys get ready for a game, what's your message to these guys right now?
Well, our guys have been working since January on this season, and so they don't look at it like, hey, if it's a long shot to win our league, then we're not going to, we don't have anything to play for. You play for every single opportunity you have because you don't know if it's going to be your last. And our guys approach practice that way, and they approach the games that way. It was 2 seasons ago. Our backs were against the wall. We had to win out to get bowl eligible, and we ended up playing in the championship game. So our guys just keep playing. They keep practicing hard, and their coach is going to match their enthusiasm and energy and get our guys better.
Is there any conversation about getting some of the younger guys a little bit more reps in practice and seeing if some of the other guys, might get some more time on playing field?
Well, we're constantly trying to develop our younger guys. When you go through and you don't have success, every position gets evaluated. In every position, you've got to look for more competition. If the starter's not getting it done, you've got to look for somebody else. Now that person typically has got to prove it in practice, because that's where we initiate the depth chart. But if you're not getting it done on game days, we're going to look for other players.
Tim, were you surprised the offense struggled?
Yeah, I mean, we had been playing pretty well, but I also at the same time knew San Diego State has a terrific defense. The week before they essentially shut out UNLV. UNLV scored on a defensive touchdown on a pick six. There's not been a lot of teams have a lot of success against San Diego State. Having said that, I thought we made great strides in Reno. I thought we had a good plan against them. You've just got to execute. You got to convert on third down. You've got to, do a little bit better job of establishing the run against that team, and you got to keep at it. We knew going into the game that because of the nature of their offense, they're a little bit like Air Force in that they're going to run the ball. You're not going to get as many possessions, and you've got to be more efficient on those possessions, and we weren't. I don't know if you'd say a step back. I mean, in some phases, I thought we played better. But, obviously the end results, and you've got to score points. And so I thought Chasen is continuing to progress, but he's not where we need him to be. I think our offensive line progressed, particularly against a really good San Diego State front, but they're not where we need them to be. I mean, nobody should feel comfortable where they're at because we're not where we need to be. I don't know if it's that. I mean, we took our shots early, and we didn't execute. We had a few plays that we thought were there to be made, but because of detail, we didn't get it done. When you're a receiver, you've got to run to a spot. And in a couple occasions, we didn't, because when you're launching that ball down the field, unless you do a great job of adjusting, if the ball's supposed to be thrown on the top of the numbers, you've got to run the top of the numbers. If you, because of whatever reason, whether you're rerouted or whatever, end up 5 yards inside the numbers or below the numbers, you better adjust because the ball's being thrown on the numbers. Well, each week we evaluate that and try to figure out who's going to give us the best chance that week to win the ball game. And we thought Chasen made strides the week before, had a great week of practice, and we never talked about bringing Zach in. If we felt like Chasen was struggling, if he had a look in his eye like he wasn't sure, protection-wise what was going on and coverage-wise, But we felt he was in control of the game. He, made some plays with his feet, and we felt he had gave us the best chance to win the football game. Yeah, every week you look at and evaluate every single position, and so you're never comfortable, especially if you're in the situation we're in, and so you've got to look for guys to continue to compete, and then put the guys out there that give you the best chance to win. I don't think anybody gets used to losing. I think when you struggle, it's hard to get over the top. I mean, the last 3 of the last 4 weeks, we've had chances to win a football game that we got to make a play, and we haven't made it. And we've got to get our guys believing in themselves, believing in what they're doing, so that they can go out and let it rip and go play. You got to play physically. You got to play with detail. And there's a handful of plays that you show them each week. Guys, this is the play we have to make, and this is why we got to practice diligently with detail. And we've got to get there. Nobody ever gets comfortable with losing, and that's why our guys fight every single day we come out at practice. It might be, but not with this group. Our guy did a great job last night, and I expect it'll be the same, tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely not. I had a meeting this morning with the captains just to talk to them. I typically do every couple of weeks about where we're at, and what concerns they have. And obviously the biggest concern is the results. But they I said, hey, are there any issues in the locker room? And they're like, Coach, a year ago, yes. Now, no. But we're going to be tracking it, be on top of it. Because when you do have adversity, it's real easy for guys to point fingers, not point thumbs. And we got to get everybody wrapping our arms around each other, fighting so that we can go to Utah State and get a win.
Is it all about practicing harder and getting more focus, or is it? I mean, Coach Sweeney used to say, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always be what you've always been, right? So do you ever go back to practice and say, well, maybe we need to do this a little bit differently because the result we're getting isn't what we want?
Well, again, that's why we changed our practice schedule, and we're going more good versus good, and we're seeing our guys develop, and so that we're playing better in games. But ultimately, you got to make those handful of plays on Saturdays, on Friday nights, and the only way I know how to do that is by continuing to work hard, keep competing against each other, and keep grinding. And our guys are doing that. Yeah, I mean, there is no fun in losing. I mean, it is what it is. You play the game to win. And when you don't win, it's very, very frustrating. And, we got to find a way to get over the top. And that's why our guys come out and work. Our guys are very invested. They're having fun, but when you lose, it's never fun. And so, I don't know that this is any kind of revelation. I mean, losing's not fun. Well, they're a team like us. They're 0-3 in the conference. Their backs are against the wall as well. The last 3 weeks, they played decent, but they're a young team, and they're not finding ways to win that game in a close game. They had a lead at Colorado State a couple weeks ago, and Colorado State came back to beat them. I see a lot of parallels between their team and our team, quite frankly. Their quarterback's very, very athletic. He's been playing now for 3 years. He's a guy that throws a good deep ball. They've got some good receivers. On defense, are a little bit young compared to what Utah State's been. But they're still a very physical team on both sides of the ball and play very, very hard for Coach Wells.
You mentioned the last couple of weeks you've seen the growth and development out of Chase into the quarterback position. Is there anything specific that you've seen that you like? Because if you look at the numbers, and again, we've talked about him before. I mean, I think we always have to hedge with he's a redshirt freshman and he is growing. But you look at his numbers over the last couple of weeks, and they have kind of dipped a little bit. What specifically has he done that you've looked at? And
well, I think if you look at total yards, they dipped, but his completion percentage last week was 60-something%. like I said, it's not always on the quarterback when the routes aren't run the way they're supposed to be run. We had a third down conversion on a slant throw that we dropped. I mean, there's a lot of little things that you make those plays. Now it extends the drive. Now he's got more opportunities. We see that. The other thing that I think he's done a really nice job of is understanding when he's protected and when he needs to get out of the pocket. He made a big run the other day when the protection broke down. He's got that kind of ability to do that, and he's doing a much better job of not flushing out of the pocket just because there's pressure around him, but understand to step up and and then slide out.
When you're playing a game like that where the other team's objective is going to be to keep running the ball, and they're going to do that, and that they have one of the best players in the country, and that's going to be defensively. Is that a frustrating game to be in when you know what they're going to do? They're going to kind of slow things down, and you just kind of watch them.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because when you draw it up on the board, you've got an extra guy in the box, and you're a little bit lighter in coverage, and yet that guy makes a guy miss, or gets tackled but falls forward for a few more yards than what you want. But it's something that, not to excuse it, but we've seen Pumphrey do all year long to everybody who's trying to stop San Diego State's offense. It's why he's a good player. As a defensive player, or you get frustrated because you know what to do. You just got to go execute better than they are, and San Diego State's executing at a very good clip right now. All right, guys.
That's going to be it for Coach DeRuyter today. So a short press conference this afternoon. The Bulldogs will be on the road this weekend as they continue Mountain West Conference play. They will take on a Utah State team that is also looking for its first win inside the Mountain West. No Paul.